Death is not the end. For some in ancient Rome, it was only the beginning of their annihilation, a second death from which there was no return. Welcome to Echoes of Time. Today, we journey into the heart of the Roman Empire to unearth one of its most chilling practices, a punishment far more insidious than the gladius or the crucifix. This is the story of a weapon of mass obliteration, an official decree to erase a person not just from life, but from memory itself. It was known as Damnatio Memoriae, the condemnation of memory. This was not a simple execution of the body, but a systematic, state-sanctioned execution of an entire existence. It was a sentence to make it as if one had never been born. Imagine walking through the Roman Forum, the bustling heart of the world's greatest empire. All around you, history is etched in stone and cast in bronze. Towering inscriptions celebrate military triumphs. Magnificent statues immortalize emperors and senators, and public records detail the lives of the powerful. But look closer. Here, on a grand arch, a name has been meticulously scraped away, leaving a ghostly void. There, a family portrait in marble has had one of its faces violently chiseled into a featureless scar. This is the physical evidence of Damnatio Memoriae, the tangible remnants of lives deliberately erased. It was an assault on identity, a legal and physical campaign to wipe an individual from the collective consciousness of Rome. This was a fate reserved for the state's greatest enemies, traitors, conspirators, and disgraced emperors. Their names were struck from the official record, their faces hammered off coins, their personal wills annulled, and their statues pulled down and ceremoniously destroyed. Every public mention, every honorific, every trace of their time on Earth was to be hunted down and purged. It was an attempt to rewrite history by design, leaving modern historians to piece together the fragments of lives Rome tried to bury forever. Consider the case of Lucius Aelius Sejanus, the ambitious and notorious commander of the Praetorian Guard under Emperor Tiberius. For years, he was the most powerful man in Rome, second only to the emperor himself. But when his conspiracy to seize the throne was uncovered, his fall was as swift as it was absolute. After his execution, the Senate unleashed the full force of Damnatio Memoriae upon him. His statues were torn down by furious mobs, his name was gouged from public monuments across the empire, and his memory was utterly annihilated. He was made an example, a lesson written in absences and empty spaces. Or take the tragic tale of Emperor Geta. After the death of his father, Septimius Severus, Geta was meant to rule jointly with his older brother, Caracalla. The relationship was poisoned by rivalry, and it ended with Caracalla murdering his younger brother in their mother's arms. But Geta's death was not enough for his paranoid sibling. Caracalla immediately issued a posthumous condemnation. Geta's name was chiseled from inscriptions, his face was removed from family portraits, and anyone caught mourning him or even speaking his name could face death. He was to be a non-person, a ghost in the Imperial family, his legacy systematically dismantled to consolidate his brother's power. These were not isolated incidents. Senators, commanders, and even entire families could be condemned to this state-enforced oblivion, their lives transformed into historical black holes. But what truly drove this extreme form of censorship? What deep-seated fear or cold political calculation could lead a civilization to wage war on the dead? This question has long fascinated scholars, and the debates continue to this day. Three primary perspectives emerge from the dust of history, each offering a window into the Roman psyche. The first, and perhaps most straightforward, is that Damnatia Memoriae was a form of political hygiene. Some scholars argue it was a pragmatic, albeit brutal, strategy for maintaining stability. By erasing a traitor or a failed usurper from the public record, the state could effectively cleanse itself of an undesirable element. It was a way to prevent the condemned from becoming a martyr or a rallying point for future dissent. By annihilating their legacy, the powerful sought to remove their ideology from the historical conversation, purifying the official narrative and sending a clear message to any who would challenge the established order. It was a tool to control history, ensuring that the only stories that survived were the ones the victors wanted told. A second perspective suggests a motivation rooted deeper in the Roman soul, in a combination of social control and superstitious fear. This view posits that the practice was less about political cleansing and more about a desperate attempt to maintain social order through profound terror. The threat was not merely death, but total non-existence. To the Roman mind, obsessed with reputation, honor, and legacy, the dignitas and gloria that defined a man, this was a fate worse than any physical punishment. The fear of being utterly forgotten, of having one's entire life's work turned to ash, was a powerful deterrent. It preyed on the fundamental human desire to be remembered. This theory suggests Damnatio Memoriae was a psychological weapon, a testament to a society that believed a defiled spirit could haunt the living, and that only through complete obliteration could the state truly be safe from the lingering influence of its enemies. Yet a third school of thought offers a more philosophical interpretation. It sees Damnatio Memoriae not just as a tool of the powerful, but as a stark reflection of the profound and terrifying precariousness of power in Rome. In the volatile world of Roman politics, one's standing could be instantly inverted. A celebrated general could become a public enemy overnight. A revered emperor could be declared a tyrant after his death. The very existence of this practice underscored the fragility of fortune. It showed that no amount of power or prestige was permanent. This constant threat of erasure transformed heroes into non-persons, reminding every ambitious Roman that the line between eternal glory and eternal oblivion was razor thin. It was a brutal commentary on a society where reputation was everything, and where that reputation could be unwritten in an instant. As historians and archaeologists work to uncover these forgotten stories, they become detectives sifting through a crime scene. The very act of destruction left its own unique signature. An inscription with a conspicuous, carefully smoothed out blank space tells a story. A statue base with severed bronze feet, the body long since melted down, speaks volumes. These voids are not silent. They are screaming echoes of a life that Rome tried to silence. And this reveals the ultimate paradox of Damnatio Memoriae. Did it actually work? In its goal of erasing a person from day-to-day life, perhaps it was temporarily effective. But in the grand sweep of history, the act of erasure has inadvertently become a monument in itself. The deliberate defacement draws our eye. The missing name on a plaque sparks our curiosity in a way a complete list never could. The empty space becomes a spotlight, highlighting the very person it was meant to conceal. The Romans, in their desperate attempt to control the past, may have unintentionally ensured the immortality of their greatest enemies. The silent execution backfired, preserving the condemned as historical mysteries, their stories all the more compelling for the efforts made to destroy them. They remain etched into history, not by their names, but by the shape of their absence. Today, we are left to sift through these echoes, to read the gaps in the record, and to resurrect the ghosts of Rome's forgotten. The stories that even the most powerful empire in the world couldn't fully silence remind us that history is a relentless force. It can be bent, battered, and censored, but the truth, like water, will always find a way through the cracks. The silent executions ultimately failed, proving that you can kill a person, but it is far harder to kill an idea, a memory, or a legacy. And so we are left to wonder about the nature of memory and power. In a world saturated with information, where digital footprints seem permanent, the Roman attempt at total erasure feels both alien and eerily familiar. It forces us to confront the stories we choose to tell and the ones we allow to be forgotten. How many silent executions are performed today, not with a chisel and hammer, but with the quiet deletion of data or the rewriting of online narratives? As we reconstruct the lives of those condemned by Rome, we must also ask ourselves, whose echoes are we failing to hear in our own time?